Hi, my name is Ian DeVito, and for my presentation, I did mold growth on foods. For my intro, have you ever tried to make a sandwich and found green fuzzy spots on the bread? Well, that's mold. You're probably wondering how it got there and how harmful it is. There are many different types of mold. Many molds are toxic, while others are less harmful, and several are even beneficial. In order to prevent the mold growth on the food, methods of preservation are utilized, including chemical, removal of nutrients, and freezing. The rate of mold growth on foods is dependent on the environment, such as temperature, humidity, and the food itself. Some different types of mold. First off, acrimonium. It's a toxigenic mold that is formed in households and can cause problems in the bone marrow, along with the immune system. Another one is aspergillus. It is formed in homes and can lead to lung infections as well as asthma attacks. Finally, chaetomium. It is found in water damaged homes and can cause skin and nail infections. Some dangers of mold in the human body are, according to the National Institutes of Health, more than 6 million children in the United States have asthma. While genes play a lead role, childhood asthma has also been linked to indoor mold growing in a child's home. Another one is headaches, including migraines, are common consequences of mold toxicity. Mold can trigger a headache or migraine as a result of an allergic reaction to mold spores in the air. Finally, eye problems. Toxins and mold can cause eye problems like inflammation in the eyes, soreness, watery eyes, bloodshot eyes, and blurry vision, to name a few. Some common preservative methods. Various methods are used to destroy or reduce the growth of mold and other microorganisms. These include lowering the temperature when storing food, reducing the pH, applying heat, removal of water, controlling oxygen and carbon dioxide concentrations, and removing nutrients. Another one is chemical preserves are added to foods to prevent mold growth, yet are monitored by the U.S. government and the Food and Agricultural Organization. Majority of our food benefits from being stored at a low and constant temperature in addition to a humidity controlled environment. Some environment and growth rate. Mold is a fungus that does not contain chlorophyll, which means it cannot absorb energy from the sun and therefore not produce its own food. Molds find suitable conditions to be warm in humid environments, ideally between 55 to 75 degrees Celsius. The mold spores can takes root on the food and spreads, creating more spores. And as quickly as 12 to 24 hours, foods can mold, while others can take weeks. The mold feeds on the food and produces chemicals to break down the food, which causes the food to rot. Some questions I had were the type of mold growth occurring on certain foods, conditions of moisture versus dry environments impact on the amount of growth mold on the mold growth. Sorry, cooking the food may vary the rate at which the food grows mold. How long before mold forms on the food? Amount of time, and make sure you are timing this. Which environment caused the most mold growth to develop over the days? My hypothesis was if food is in a moist and warm environment, then the food will grow mold faster. This experiment will also consist of orange slices, bread, and a slice of cheese. My materials were a slice of bread, slice of cheese, an orange slice, zip top bags, a knife, marker for labeling, spray bottle filled with water, oven or toaster, I used an oven, notebook with a writing utensil, and a phone camera. My experimental setup. My independent variable was the amount of mold. My dependent was the amount of time the food is out for. And my constant was the food. For my procedure, in short, I put out bread and other food samples in a plastic bag. And over the days, I monitored the amount of mold growth. So here were my pictures. Day one, obviously, there isn't going to be any mold growth. Uh, Day two, a little bit on the orange, not much on the bread or banana. Day three, I didn't have any mold growth on the bread or banana, so I ended up just taking pictures of the orange, which had a lot of mold, as you can tell in the picture. My discussion, why the results happened. What the results came out to were that in the first couple of days, it was settled with little to no mold. The second to last and final days were when the mold came into play. What I found out was the more damp foods tend to have more mold, the dry foods had little to no mold, and the cooked foods had no mold at all. My error was if you were to not leave the foods out for long enough, you will not see enough mold growth on each food sample to make a discernible difference. Moving forward, I hope for other people to learn more, including scientists and other students, about how mold can be prevented and are grown effectively for studies. Don't let those green fuzzy spots on the bread get there. That is all.